Major breaking bombshell reports are emerging from Interfax Ukraine alleging that, well, I got to be very careful about how I say this, but it seems, let me just read for you. $16.5 million received by Hunter Biden, the son of former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, as payment from Burisma was stolen from Ukrainian citizens, Member of Parliament Andriy Derkach has said. Derkach said at a press conference at the Kiev-based Interfax Ukraine news agency that on November 14th, the Prosecutor General's office announced a new suspicion to the owner of Burisma, former Ecology Minister Mykola Zlochevsky. Whoa, let's slow down. There's a lot you got to know first. Interfax is a Russian-owned website, but this story is getting a lot of traction because naturally it lends to the idea that Trump really did need to be investigating the Bidens and Ukraine. Now, first, if the Prosecutor General's office is releasing a new file, a document, a suspicion, whatever you want to call it, making these implications, then we're done. It needs to be looked into. There's more here, because apparently these MPs are calling on Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, to investigate $7.4 billion. They say this, they say suspicions of the legalization of $7.4 billion by the family of ex-President Viktor Yanukovych through the American investment fund Franklin Templeton Investments, which they said has ties to the U.S. Democratic Party. Whoa. First, Interfax is a Russian news website. As far as I know, I believe it to be the case. I reached out to a trusted source and asked them, what is the validity to this? Because these are huge bombshell accusations. And I was told that Andriy Derkach is a pro-Russia is a pro-Russia MP. Essentially, that his sympathies are more to the Russian side of the ongoing conflict. So take it all with a grain of salt. Don't give it too much weight until these documents come out. That is the most important thing I can tell you right now. There's going to be a lot of people saying it exonerates the president. It's proof positive. It is good for the president, yes, but not until the documents are public. I will also stress John Solomon's reporting has tracked much of these similar reports, and it's been dismissed outright by the U.S. media. You need to understand, there absolutely is a conflict between U.S. and Russian interests as it pertains to Ukraine. Russia moved into Crimea claiming it was a referendum. There's a lot of complicated issues here. So yes, Russia has interests and absolutely would be putting out disinfo, but none of that matters. All that matters is whether or not the prosecutor in Ukraine did issue this, because as we know, Joe Biden intervened specifically to get rid of the bad ones. And they've claimed over and over again in these impeachment inquiries, these hearings, that Zelensky is on the level. Volker and Morrison have said Zelensky's a good dude. Trump didn't trust him. So now you've got a conundrum here. If this is true, and the prosecutor is saying this, then it stands to reason the new prosecutor in the new administration is on the level, and Trump was right. They should be investigated. Now let's say the prosecutor general is not on the level, and this is fake news. Then Trump was right to investigate. Why would the prosecutor general make false accusations against Hunter Biden and potentially the Democrats? Now, it's also fair to say, hold on, a lot of these accusations are coming from Andriy Derkach, and I'm not familiar with who he is. So again, we need to figure out what's up with these documents. But again, if it comes down to a filing by the prosecutor, the only outcome is that Ukraine must investigate. Period. Let's read. They say, Derkach said at a press conference, we read that, the PGO document once again confirms the data I had previously published on Burisma and international corruption, according to Zlochevsky's suspicion notice. Biden and partners received their $16.5 million for their services to Burisma. Biden received funds not due to the successful activity of Burisma or for brilliant business decisions or recommendations. This is the money of Ukrainian citizens. The funds were obtained by criminal means. That's what they say in the PGO, Derkach said. Derkach said the new suspicion notice to Zlochevsky was received by him from investigative journalists. You need to take it all with a grain of salt. Until these documents are public, and these investigative journalists, whoever they are, we need to see the documents. We need confirmation from the prosecutor. So track this. Again, fact check me. The main reason I wanted to do the segment is because I'll be honest with you, I did not want to read Interfax, but I've seen some high profile people sharing the story, and I believe this is very, very important context. The last thing you want to do is find yourself caught up in political disinformation. I believe it's probable that this will come out from the PGO. But we're nowhere near confirmation. I have been wrong many times in the past, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. But I do think it's important to track this. Interfax is not, just because they're Russian doesn't mean they're not credible. They do news. And they're, this is the Ukrainian arm of them, and that's fine, right? What we need to figure out is now we go towards the investigation. So again, I want to make sure I stress for the millionth time. It's important. Read this, and we need to dig further. There's a lot of people who are going to tell you it's true, and it may be. Grain of salt. We need more verification. According to the investigations, Zlochevsky was directly involved in the withdrawal of funds by the Yanukovych family. They laundered the funds of Yanukovych through 3 companies in Latvia. As reported on October 9th, Derkach made public official correspondence between the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine and the U.S. Embassy, according to which First Deputy NABU Director Gizo Uglava, through his assistant Polina Chiz, provided the U.S. Embassy with information that affected the course of events in Ukraine and U.S. According to him, Chiz received an order from U.S. employee Hanna Yemelyanova to provide information on the case of ex-ecology minister and Burisma Group owner Mykola Zlochevsky. Zlochevsky revealed the amount of money that was transferred to the representatives of Burisma Group, including Hunter Biden. According to the documents, about $16.5 million was transferred in favor of Hunter Biden, Alexander Kwasniewski, Alan Apter, and Devin Archer. According to Derkach, ex-prosecutor general Viktor Shokin repeatedly contacted NABU director Artem Sitnik in the framework of criminal proceedings involving Burisma, but constantly received formal replies. The activities of Shokin, according to Derkach, irritated Joe Biden during his 5th visit to Kiev in 2 years on December 7th through 8th, 2015. The visit was devoted to the issue of removing Shokin as prosecutor general and the affairs of Zlochevsky and Burisma. The instrument issued for pressure was the $1 billion credit guarantee that the United States should have provided to Ukraine. Biden himself acknowledged the pressure in a speech to the U.S. Foreign Relations Council in January 2018. On November 11th, Derkach said on his video blog that head of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, Nazar Kolodenitsky, launched an investigation into his allegations that the NABU had provided information to the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. He also noted that from May 2014 until October 2015, Burisma transferred $4.817 million to Rosemont, and the latter transferred $871,000 to Hunter Biden. Derkach, according to a source, may be pro-Russia, so take it into consideration. Yes, the Russians do want to undermine our efforts in Ukraine. Just because the Democrats are overplaying their hand and screeching Russia nonstop doesn't mean there isn't a risk here. There is. So again, but however, we need to break this down, because if this is true, this may be one of the most damning implications we have heard so far. It might not be true, but if it is, we have a story now of Joe Biden intervening in a criminal investigation into Burisma, which is now being investigated again. That's what they're saying. And that Hunter Biden received substantially more money than previously thought, 16.5, and a lot of money, nearly $5 million to Rosemont Seneca. Listen, if the United States is giving $1 billion to Ukraine, and it's true that Ukrainian tax dollars are being siphoned back to the Bidens, and Joe Biden intervened and said, you will not get this money unless you do as I say, this sounds particularly bad. Particularly bad. But I'm sorry I have to do it again. We are far from having confirmation on this. This should be the point at which people in the United States, including real journalists, start digging. But I want to bring up a more important point moving on from here, just to end this video. Gordon Sondland flipped. That's what we're hearing today in the impeachment inquiry. They're saying he flipped, even though he's providing nothing and he's contradicting himself. We've learned some very important things. For one, according to Sondland's testimony, Donald Trump was asked, what do you want from Ukraine? And Trump said, I want nothing. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky to do the right thing. I want him to do what he ran on. That should be it. Game over, right? Game over. The question is, even after Sondland testified to that fact, why would he come out now and say there was quid pro quo? Well, I saw this tweet from Ari Melnick, I believe of MSNBC, The Beat with Ari airing on MSNBC. He said, within a matter of days, Trump admin witnesses are seeing the stark choices between Roger Stone, obstruct, convicted Friday, and now facing serious prison time; Giuliani, resist, and facing a major SDNY probe; Gordon Sondland, cooperate and reveal who ordered you to do what. I'd like to point out the important takeaway from this tweet and the horrifying implication Ari is making. Roger Stone wasn't convicted over anything to do with Russia collusion, for the most part. What he's saying has nothing to do. I mean, Trump was exonerated, right? Well, no, okay, they'll argue he wasn't, but Trump was cleared. He did no wrong. He did not collude with Russia. Roger Stone still went to prison. That's weird. Giuliani, resist and face a major SDNY probe. But what does the SDNY probe have to do with Ukraine? Nothing. What Ari here is insinuating is that there are elements within the government that will jam you up. They will find a reason unless you give them what they want. That's what he's implicating. This whole thing stinks. All of it. I can't tell you what's happening, but we do have major conflicts of interest. And I think based on the media reports around Hunter Biden going back to 2014, the dozen or so I pulled up on Twitter and posted the other day, every single time they said corruption, corruption, corruption. Hunter Biden is undermining the U.S. Nobody looked into it. I'm going to have to lean towards, at the very least, it's time to investigate the Bidens. Otherwise, you look at this terrifying potential reality. What? That if you're innocent of wrongdoing, but you don't do what these intelligence agencies want, they will find a way to put you in prison? Welcome to your free world, huh? I got a couple more videos coming up in a few minutes. Stick around. I will see you shortly.